we could see a 49-state landslide. We may be looking at a Mondale-Reagan type scenario where Trump landslides 49 states. And we may see a 49-state landslide. Maybe a 50-state landslide. That'd be amazing. I think we might be seeing a 49-state landslide. I just really think it's more likely that Trump wins 520 electoral votes. No amount of mail-in ballots will matter. If Trump gets 537 or 36 or even 538 every single electoral vote, we all know Joe Biden will lose. Like, let's be real, man. As I've stated 1,000,001 times, Donald Trump's gonna win. The Republicans are gonna sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden has defeated Donald Trump. Everything I've told you will be wrong and completely meaningless. So keep that in mind.
And strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. They're coming here. They're coming here from Africa, from South America. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. They're coming here. They're coming here from Africa, from South America. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha, 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 ha.
Strike and strike and smash. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy.
The devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. The king of disease. My daddy. The king of death.
Victory, victory.
Smashed it with your iron rod. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. I care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and strike and smash. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations. Massive warfare, massive witchcraft. A feminine spirit told me about a guy who was rah, rah, rah until the news started saying things. And all of a sudden he said, well, Trump should have humbled himself. Well, things would have been different if. Things are different only when God says they are different. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care what the media says. Care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says. Care what states say. Care what government says. I certainly don't care what doctors say, teachers say, businesses say.
We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha.
Strike and strike and smash. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy. I think Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're going to get steamrolled in the election. I really don't see the Democrats winning this. I think it's fair to say Trump's going to win re-election. I think Trump might have a massive, massive victory, which shocks the left. I think we're looking at a Trump victory, man. Trump 2020 landslide, even with everything going on with COVID. I think that's what we can expect. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trump had a 49-state landslide. I think we could see a 49-state landslide. We may be looking at a Mondale-Reagan type scenario where Trump landslides 49 states. And we may see a 49-state landslide. Maybe a 50-state landslide. That'd be amazing. I think we might be seeing a 49-state landslide. I just really think it's more likely that Trump wins 520 electoral votes. No amount of mail-in ballots will matter. If Trump gets 537 or 36 or even 538 every single electoral vote. We all know Joe Biden will lose. Like, let's be real, man. As I've stated 1,000,001 times, Donald Trump's going to win. The Republicans are going to sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden has defeated Donald Trump. Everything I've told you will be wrong and completely meaningless. So keep that in mind.
And strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. They're coming here from Africa, from South America. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. They're coming here from Africa, from South America. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Strike and strike and smash.
Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. The king of disease. My daddy. The king of death.
Victory, victory.
Smashed it with your iron rod. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and strike and smash.
Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations, massive warfare, massive witchcraft. A feminine spirit told me about a guy who was rah 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 until the news started saying things, and all of a sudden he said, "Well, Trump should have humbled himself." Well, things would have been different if. Things are different only when God says they are different. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care what the media says. Care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says. Care what states say. Care what government says. I certainly don't care what doctors say, teachers say, businesses say.
We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha.
I think Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're going to get steamrolled in the election. I really don't see the Democrats winning this. I think it's fair to say Trump's going to win re-election. I think Trump might have a massive, massive victory, which shocks the left. I think we're looking at a Trump victory, man. Trump 2020 landslide, even with everything going on with COVID. I think that's what we can expect. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trump had a 49-state landslide. I think we could see a 49-state landslide. We may be looking at a Mondale-Reagan type scenario where Trump landslides 49 states. And we may see a 49-state landslide. Maybe a 50-state landslide. That'd be amazing. I think we might be seeing a 49-state landslide. I just really think it's more likely that Trump wins 520 electoral votes. No amount of mail-in ballots will matter. If Trump gets 537 or 36 or even 538 every single electoral vote, we all know Joe Biden will lose. Like, let's be real, man. As I've stated 1,000,001 times, Donald Trump's going to win. The Republicans are going to sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden has defeated Donald Trump. Everything I've told you will be wrong and completely meaningless. So keep that in mind.
And strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. They're coming here from Africa, from South America. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now.
The Lord says it is done. The Lord said it is done. I hear the shout of victory. Woo! All right. Carry myself a snigger before we get into the podcast. Now, that being said, the hat that I wear, 22 veterans is one too many a day. That's the hat that I wear every day. That being said, guys, welcome to the Pitchfork Podcast. At the top of the hour, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You may have noticed some changes to the show if you're a long-time viewer or subscriber. So, here on the Pitchfork Podcast, we cover news. And we cover news, we also cover some social opinions. I crack some jokes in the meantime. And I speak at a very, very fast pace. Now, if you have a difficult time keeping up with that, I apologize. But I give you the news at a breakneck pace, but also give you my opinion, because I know that my opinion also fills in a lot of time. However, you may have noticed also at the screen, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Dev's Advocate, Twitch, FusePainter86, and also YouTube, Devil's Advocate. Also, I'm also streaming on Facebook, Trovo, and also on DLive. On DLive, I am Mr. Devil's Advocate. Now, if you want to participate in the show, you can call in at 253-203-6784. Again, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. And also in the live chat, if you are on DLive, Trovo, if you are on Twitch, or you're on YouTube, you should see a link in the live chat. It's linked to my Discord. Also, if you check the description of the video, you should see a link to my Discord, The Inferno. If you want to participate in the show but you don't have a phone, you can join the stream room. It's just going to be me and you in the stream room. It's 2 people at a time. And what happens is you can talk, and I can let the desktop audio play, and it'll be as if you're making a phone call. So I want everybody to be able to participate in this show, because this is your show. I am mostly center right, basically moderate right, and that's how most of the country is. I'm not like most people. I am a pagan. I have some very, very harsh opinions. But in terms of where I generally lean, that's where most of America tends to go. That's how I'm able to call things right so many times, because I pretty much call it how most people would call it. Now, with that being said, you may also notice the disclaimer here. You can call into the show about any issue. Bad day at work, politics, gender. Call in 253-203-6784 or join the Discord chat. But if you spam the comments or act like a troll, I'll give you once a shot to call in before I moderate the comments. I run this show pretty much every day. No excuse for cowardice when you can call in and directly confront me. I'm sure you're just as brave in person as you are behind your 1,000th Nazi-themed sock account. Hashtag no more cowards. And that's how I feel about it. No more cowards. All right? You can directly confront me. If you have such strong feelings towards, and typically speaking, I get this typically from the far left or the far right. If you feel so strongly about your opinions, why not simply call in and just voice your opinion? I'll even mute myself just to let you speak. That's fine. If you're calling and you tell me I don't want to debate you, I just want to say how I feel. Cool. I will let you do that. But the second you start invoking debate, then I'm going to challenge you. And you better come with facts. So, you see how that works? You're allowed to have your feelings. But your feelings don't overshadow facts. That's how the right used to feel. But unfortunately, these days, they've suddenly changed their tune. With that being said, guys, let's get into the first news story. All right, we're going to watch a video. How are we going to start the show today? It's just coming from... NBC 9 News. It's this FBI identifies killer as part of the mob that stormed the U.S. Capitol. So, an Olympic gold medalist, Cleet Keller, was being arrested following the riot. So he's actually an Olympic gold medalist. This is going to be pretty. Oh my God! This is I'm not quite sure why this man would do this, but let's take a look. Let's go over to the live scene. All right. There we go. So we are right here on the live scene. We'll reduce that size a little bit. There we go. All right, so let me reduce this a little bit. Those are all social media platforms you can follow me on. I kind of like that funny little font I have. But basically, what's happening here is that this is an Olympic gold medalist who was arrested because he was a part of the U.S. Capitol riots, and that's kind of bizarre to me. I just don't understand why so many people who have prestigious careers and were once great people, once great people with great followings, why they suddenly decide to be criminals. I just don't understand that. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If you're gonna like what was the point that you were trying to prove? That's the thing that I want to understand. What do you prove by going to jail and becoming somebody's boyfriend? What do you prove by doing that? I mean, that you stood up for what you thought was right? Sure, but now you're in prison. Doesn't matter now, because when your boyfriend wants that booty, he's gonna get that booty. Oh my God, he's gonna get that booty. But let's play this right here.
A week has passed since the mob rioted and sieged the nation's capital. Now, nearly every day, people with Colorado ties who went to D.C. are surfacing in news reports and in criminal cases. Gold medal swimmer Cleet Keller of Colorado Springs was hit with a federal arrest warrant out of D.C. for violent entry and obstruction.
Wow.
Video shows the 6'6" Olympian in the Capitol wearing a USA jacket with an official Olympic patch, which is cited in the federal arrest.
Wait. So this man is 6'6", gigantic, just NBA player size, right? I mean, LeBron James was like 6'8", 6'9". He ain't that much smaller than LeBron James. So obviously he's gonna stand out, right? And he wore an identifying patch from the Olympics. There's no way that he engages in these activities and doesn't realize what he's doing is illegal. So with that being said, why did so many of these people we just had the guy who was arrested because he wore his he was inside he actually breached the U.S. Capitol. He had on his work ID. You had people just not wearing masks. Some of them were police officers, so when they show their face, obviously a lot of people are going to recognize them. Why aren't they going out of their way to be caught? That's the part that I don't understand. Like, if you're going to be a criminal, you know, even Altair from the Assassin's Creed series, even he knew to wear a mask when he actually killed people, right? You know, I mean, even anime nerds, you know, who think that ninjas still actually exist, that ninjas are actually real, even they know that you have to at some point or another conceal your face if you're gonna at least LARP as a ninja, right? These be the worst ninjas ever. The freaking Uzumaki clan, the freaking Uchiha clan, all of them would just kick them out. Exile. You would not take missions from the freaking bingo book. You be in the damn bingo book. Holy shit. I mean, look at this crap.
Warrant. The document cites these online videos capturing his alleged crime. And then there's Cleveland Meredith, who was also prolific online. A man accused of traveling from Colorado armed with an assault rifle, a pistol, high-capacity magazines, and 2,500 rounds. Investigators say he had plans to target...
Listen. If you're gonna go and incite a riot, incite insurrection, if you're gonna go and be, you know, essentially a goddamn terrorist, if you're gonna be that, right? Why is it that you go out of your way to put like American flag shit all over your guns? Like, look at the freaking handgun there, right? Notice how it's in the American flag pattern, the freaking Star Spangled pattern. If you're gonna be anti-American or a part of a freaking militia group, or if you know that a militia group is gonna be there that is anarchist, why would you even make yourself a target by even showing up with that kind of gun? Because an anarchist is not gonna respect that fucking flag. So like, why do these people go out of their way, right? That's the part that I don't particularly get. Why do they go out of their way to appear patriotic and yet do everything out of their mind? They go out of their way to do everything in their power to appear as non-American as possible. Like, that's the part that's just like I can't really like get over, right? So I want to give you guys a link to this particular video because I want you guys to be able to have this. It's just, that's the part that I'm having a hard time like grasping, right? Like, why do you go out of your way to appear patriotic and yet do everything in your power to not be patriotic, right? That's the part that I'm having a hard time struggling with. You had so many people carrying these Blue Lives Matter flags, right? But sitting there beating down cops, or like wearing these ridiculous like American flag like flannel shirts and shit, but desecrating the freaking U.S. Capitol. It's like, is irony like lost on you people?
Target Speaker Nancy Pelosi and shoot her in the head on live TV. He's facing federal charges too.
We are doing everything we can to make sure that that any peaceful protests go off safely here in Colorado.
Locally, Colorado law enforcement say they are looking out for threats, especially as the FBI warns about armed protests at state capitol buildings this weekend.
It is essentially a 24-hour operation between now and inauguration.
Colorado's U.S. Attorney Jason Dunn said his office is working with the entire Department of Justice on cases that may surface here in the state or in D.C. Is there any potential that cases could surface here in Colorado's district?
So basically, it's not just Colorado; it's all over the country. But they're talking about Colorado because of what happened with this gold medalist. But it's like over the weekend, they're planning protests over the weekend into Monday. You know, right now, Friday the 15th. Think about it. Think about what's coming over the weekend. You know, some people say that this is actually going to be the actual Black Friday. But the blackness of it, it's going to have a whole new meaning. You know, I think that when they write the history books, if it goes down the way I hope that I'm wrong, but if it goes down the way that I'm somewhat suspecting, This is the dawn. This is the calm before the storm. So, you know, I would suggest that you guys don't participate in any of this protest crap. I wasn't really down with it anyway because the election was not stolen. I've been saying that for like a while. But just don't show up down there, man. The National Guards there, they have live ammunition and they are locked and loaded, bro. Like, if you're thinking about that, you should really, really reconsider. Seriously, like, I think that we're at the point where when National Guard shows up there and you got the state attorney general's office, you got U.S. District Attorney's office all on alert. This is past the point of a joke, man. This is not a freaking Pepe meme. It's not a joke anymore. Let's move on. All right.
As former Cleveland schools employee Christine Priola was arrested and federally charged for.
So there's a former Cleveland school employee that was arrested. She was pictured right there next to the guy that's sitting in the main hall of the, I believe that's the U.S. Senate floor, sitting in the main chair right there. And so we're gonna take a look at this video. It's pretty interesting. Because again, like you.
As former Cleveland
she gave up her good ass job.
Christine Priola was arrested and federally charged for her role in the riot at the U.S. Capitol. Will Ewick has been on the story since last week and joins us now live with the very latest.
Wow.
Yeah, Jay, Priola is out on bond, and it's an unsecured bond or a personal bond this evening after she made her initial appearance at the courthouse behind me, the federal courthouse here in downtown Cleveland, where she was charged with entering a restricted building, violent entry, disorderly conduct, and unlawful activities on Capitol grounds.
Here's my thing, right? We always say that the children are our future, right? That's a very, very good notion to have. But if we say that children are our future, why do we allow people like this to do the things that they do? What kind of example is she setting for children? Right, so suppose she gets a bunch of kids one day, because as young kids do, who are pro-BLM, and they want to show up to the schoolhouse and do the exact same thing to the schoolhouse as she did in D.C. Do you think that that would be appropriate? I mean, hold on. Is she allowed to do it? Then why aren't the children? I mean, the one thing that I'm tired of adults always doing is telling kids one thing, but then we get to do something else completely different. You know, we always tell children to, obey authority, but then when you see situations like this, I'm pretty sure that if one of her kids came to the classroom and were say, "Well, I'm not going to do what you say. I feel that your classroom is tyranny," or "I feel that this teacher's classroom is tyranny," I'm pretty sure that as a former employee of the school district in Cleveland, I'm pretty sure that she would take exception with that. She would say, "I know what's best for you," and she could use age and everything else. But ultimately, what it would come down to is she would tell somebody else to respect authority. Because there's this saying in the Army that I found to be spread across the military, is that stay in your lane. You are a Karen of a damn teacher. The fuck do you know? And she's sitting there taking that mugshot with a smile on her face. Do you see that? I want you to understand something. What do you think happens, right, when her students see that smile, that little smug smile all over her damn face? Does this encourage, right? Because again, we always mention how young and impressionable these young men are, right? So suppose they get this person who shows up to a school, right, smirking after they've done something that honestly has made headlines across, the planet. no remorse, no reconsideration. And I want you to see, this person couldn't even tell, students or young people that you shouldn't instigate violent incidents or instigate lawlessness, because you see what she's doing here? And on top of that, if you are an employee of the school district, why are you not wearing a goddamn mask? Even if, let's say that even if you don't take the virus very, very seriously, right? Even if, right? If an employee is even sick with the cold, you don't really want you don't want them to come to school to get your kids sick, because that's going to get you sick. That's going to cost you days out of work, right? So, with that being said, explain to me, why is it that this person is not wearing a mask when they could potentially get children sick? I mean, not only does it appear that this person is engaging in lawlessness and behaving like a criminal, but then on top of that, she's setting a bad example for children. And then if she would have, and then suppose for a second she wasn't caught, she could have potentially went back around those children, and with her not wearing a freaking mask, she could have gotten children sick. So she not only had complete disregard for the safety of others around her own safety, but also the safety of children long term. Because she wasn't gonna just turn herself in. If she wasn't caught on camera, if they weren't looking for her hardcore, if this wasn't blown out of freaking proportion, she was not turning herself in, and we all know that.
Will Ewick has been on the story since last week and joins us now live with the very latest.
Yeah, Jay, Priola is out on bond, and it's an unsecured bond or a personal bond this evening after she made her initial appearance at the courthouse behind me, the federal courthouse here in downtown Cleveland, where she was charged with entering a restricted building, violent entry, disorderly conduct, and unlawful activities on Capitol grounds.
A former occupational therapist for the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, Christine Priola, was arrested by the FBI this morning.
Wait a minute. This person is an occupational therapist. An occupational therapist who makes bad decisions for their own career. An occupational therapist who makes bad decisions about their own career. That's like having a zombie life coach.
At her Willoughby home. This all comes after she resigned from CMSD last Thursday, one day after the Capitol riots, citing, among other things, her desire to switch career paths to focus on exposing pedophilia and not wanting to take a COVID-19 vaccine in order to return.
Wait a minute. I want you to read this nonsense, right? I want you to hear this. I will not be taking the coronavirus 19 vaccine in order to return to in-person learning. So let's say that her children are, let's say that she believes that children are the future, and that there is no amount of sacrifice that you can make to get back to those kids. Then why wouldn't you take the vaccine? We're not talking about someone being forced to, right? Of course, she can make the decision to say, hey, I don't want to do it. But you're going to cost yourself your job, probably your freaking home. You're going to cost, because again, she's been there for a little minute now, and she's going to have a nice little long gap in employment unless she mentions her previous employment. And when they mention all this stuff, especially now that she's been all over TV, she's not going to have to find a freaking job. So she gave up her job, probably long-term financial security, because that was a government job, all because she didn't want to get a simple poke. Okay, I'll be switching paths to expose the global evil of human trafficking and pedophilia, including in our own government and children's service agencies. Right on, I guess. I do not agree with my union dues, which help fund people and groups that support the killing of unborn children. So you injected abortion into a debate that has nothing to do with abortion. Because, you know, my thing is, if you feel so strongly about abortion and you feel so strongly about, you know, the not killing unborn children, that's great. But what is the alternative? You know, people who are so-called pro-life, you know, that's a question I always want to ask them. What is the alternative? What are you gonna do when the government demands that, you know, that I or you wait forever and today to be approved for an abortion if we are a woman? I mean, even though she's a woman, I don't feel like I want to lecture a woman about abortion. But again, you are injecting things that don't really have anything to do with your job. And if you don't really agree with your union dues, then take that up with your union. But if you say that but if you ever felt that your job was necessary, that the children needed you, then you would push aside whatever differences that you have with your union, because that's between you and the union. That ain't got nothing to do with the children. Right? I mean, am I crazy here? Am I wrong here? I mean, I would think that I thought that I was right on point there. I feel that you know, personally, if you take that kind of job, you understand what you get yourself into. It is what it is. You know? I feel that if you get into that kind of job, you understand exactly, you know, you understand that your job is more important than your political positions. And I see that this person never had any desire to work with children. She wanted to get involved in politics. You know, it's not about human trafficking. It was never about that. You know, it was never about the killing of unborn children. She felt that her beliefs weren't being validated by the media at large. She felt like she wasn't making as much of an impact, because otherwise, why do you show up at the Capitol the way that you do? Why do you say things that you say? Once again, she wants to feel important. That's why she did things that she did, and it makes sense. It makes sense. That's why she made sure that she was on. She had to know that there were cameras on that main floor of the Senate floor. She knew that. But that's precisely why you have so many pictures of her down there. She wanted to be the center of freaking attention. That's all she cared about. Being the center of attention. How sad. How sad.
Turn to in-person school. Then last Friday, the FBI, U.S. Marshals, and Willoughby PD searched Priola's house after an anonymous tip came in via Twitter, identifying her as someone photographed several times inside the Capitol, in which she was seen with a sign reading in part, "The children cry out for justice," and taking a picture of someone sitting in Vice President Pence's seat. The FBI took a laptop, 2 desktop computers, several thumb drives, clothing, a sign, and an iPhone from Priola's residence. Agents found the phone to be swept of data like photos, videos, and messages from January 4th through the 7th, but were able to recover some location data from January 6th, putting the phone on.
You think that you're going to just swipe something off a phone and the FBI ain't going to find out about it? Wow. You see how, do you see what I mean now? About how precious these people are? How just absolutely, you know, because I want you to understand, anywhere that you go, that location can be tracked. if you connect to any kind of Wi-Fi, you use any kind of data, you post any kind of pictures, you log into your Facebook account, you log into your Twitter account, you log into your TikTok, your Instagram, your OnlyFans, you name it. Your Pornhub, you log into any of that. Guess what? They're gonna find you. So I mean, it's amazing how we have these memes about how the FBI can just CIA can just spy on people, right? But yet for some reason we don't believe them. You can't just hide things on your phone, just wipe your phone things and just say, oh man, they're not gonna find anything now. Of course they are. Of course they are.
On a Wi-Fi network just northeast of the U.S. Capitol. Priola made her initial appearance today in Cleveland federal court, but is being charged in Washington, D.C., facing a sentence of up to 2 years in prison and fines if found guilty.
That unsecured bond is a $20,000 bond, but Jay, a couple of interesting notes here. There are strings attached to it, like at-home electronic monitoring, as well as travel restrictions and computer monitoring and restrictions as well.
All right, well, Ewick, with the very latest, will continue to follow.
Damn. The homegirl got help with computer monitoring, ankle monitoring. Pretty sure she can't travel. Pretty sure she can't own a freaking firearm. And on top of that, she has no more job. And who the hell is gonna hire her now? No, you tell me, who the hell is gonna hire this girl now? I ain't. You think I'm gonna damn risk that shit? You think I'm gonna put myself at risk for her? Shit. Nope. Cause I'm sorry. I want people to understand, you know, I can't risk that, man. I just can't risk that. You know what I mean? So I mean, like you have to just, we have to get over this idea of people just I don't want people to ever be fired from their job, you know, like, because sometimes these people kind of bring it on themselves, you know, like you show up down there, right, and you refuse to take like vaccines, you pretty much, you want to be a rebel, you want to make a strong political statement, right? That's your goal in life. You don't care about, you know, what happens to your freaking kids. You don't particularly even care about what happens, you know, in terms of overall effectiveness of what you're doing. You just care about the message and about being seen. That's all you care about. And so when you have people like that, right? I want you to understand this. When you have people like that, people like this person who worked for that freaking school district, who makes stupid decisions and set a bad example for children, not taking vaccines, not wearing masks, showing up doing illegal stuff, putting themselves on freaking national media, international media. What kind of example is that setting for our children? Unbelievable, man. What a piece of work. Let's move on. Unbelievable.
Content. I'm going to try to do more to build this.
Actually, that's not the one I wanted. The one I wanted is right here. All right. Let's go ahead and pause this real quick.
Brave police officers, those tasked with guarding the U.S. Capitol during the attack last week, are now offering vivid account.
some police officers decided to give some of their accounts of what happened at the U.S. Capitol. So I want to give you some of their accounts, and I want to play it for you. It's coming out of CNN. So I posted a link in the chat if you ever want to just go look at it again later if you want to see it for yourself. One thing about me is before I show anything, I like to try to give you the link to, you know what I'm saying? So that way you can see I'm not manipulating anything for you. So let's go ahead and play this. It's going to be pretty graphic, so just get ready for that, guys. I apologize ahead of
police
time.
Officers, those tasked with guarding the U.S. Capitol during the attack last week, are now offering vivid accounts of the dramatic encounters with rioters, claiming, as you said, Jim, claiming to be patriots.
Listen, their lives were in danger. One of them, while he's on the ground, heard one of the rioters say, "Kill him with his own gun."
Jeez.
Now, one of those officers is still suffering from the effects of a mild heart attack after these violent rioters tased him several times, stripped him of his gear. CNN Shimon Prokupez joins us now from Washington. Listen, Shimon, as we get more details...
God damn, man. Let's watch that again. That is crazy. Watch this.
Vivid accounts of the dramatic encounters with rioters, claiming, as you said, Jim, claiming to be patriots.
Listen, their lives were in danger. One of them, while he's on the ground, heard one of the rioters say, "Kill him with his own gun." Now, one of those officers is still suffering from the effects of a mild heart attack after these violent rioters tased him several times, stripped him of his gear. CNN Shimon Prokupez joins us now from Washington.
Jesus.
Listen, Shimon, as we get more details...
In last week's deadly coup attempt at the U.S. Capitol, a pro-Trump mob swarmed the building, outnumbering and battling police officers fighting to defend him.
It was difficult to offer any resistance when you're only about 30 guys going up against 15,000.
Yeah. DC Metro Police Officer Michael Fanone was in this group of officers at the west front entrance of the Capitol as rioters forced their way in. They eventually push him out into the crowd where Fanone says he was tasered several times. While trapped, the 40-year-old says he thought about using his gun to fight back.
Some guys started getting a hold of my gun, and they were screaming out.
That's gotta be scary, yo.
You know, kill him with his own gun.
Oh my God.
At that point, you know, it was just...
That's... Wow. Could you imagine being that dude, man? Could you imagine being that man in that moment, man? Yo, like that's legit scary, bro. Could you imagine? I'm gonna type out in chat. Could you imagine being that officer? People are shouting, kill him with his own gun. Yo, let me know in the chat, guys. I left a question in the chat, guys. You see in the chat. I said, could you imagine being that officer in that moment when people are shouting, kill him with his own gun? Could you imagine being that officer in that moment? Could you? Because that is gotta be scary, man. Give me a second, let the screen catch up. Alright, there we go.
Just like self-preservation. You know, how do I survive this situation? And I thought about, you know, using deadly force. I thought about shooting people. And then I just came to the conclusion that, you know, if I was to do that, I might get a few, but I'm not going to take everybody, and they'll probably take my gun away from me, and that would definitely give them the justification that they were looking for to kill me if they already didn't have made that up in their minds. So the other option I thought of was, you know, try to appeal to somebody's humanity. And I just remember yelling out that I have kids.
That is Yeah, that's scary, yo. Woo! Like but that shows you the level of depravity there, you know? That his only option was to shout out, I have kids. And maybe that caused him to have some mercy. You know, maybe you are upset at that moment. Maybe you don't want to punish, you know, a kid who's done nothing wrong to you by taking their freaking daddy away. You know, maybe it wouldn't hurt you as an adult, but that would destroy a little kid. You know, we just had Christmas. You know, daddy just bought him gifts. You just killed that man. You know, maybe that actually went through somebody's head. You know, but that's got to be horrifying, man. Like, whew. I mean, I've been in situations that there were, I would say, not precisely the same situations, of course, but equally dangerous, equally or if not more dangerous. And I gotta tell you, I can respect that level of freaking fear. Like you pretty much doing whatever you gotta do at that point, you know.
And it seemed to work. Some people in the crowd started to encircle me and try to offer me some level of protection. A lot of people have asked me, you know, my thoughts on the individuals in the crowd that, you know, that helped me or try to offer some assistance. And I think kind of the conclusion I've come to is like, you know, thank you, but for being there.
This horrifying
I heard that. You heard that? He said, thank you, but fuck you for being there. Right on, brother. Right on. I mean, listen. That man does not sound like somebody who wants problems. I mean, I talk a lot of smack about police officers, right? And everyone knows that about me, but he don't sound like somebody who just goes around messing with people. He sound like a dude who just wanted to just go home. You know? The Capitol Police in 2 centuries, you know, up until January 6th, well, at least before then, had only lost 2 officers. And now it's up to 4. You know, 2 officers before January 6th. One because Brian Sicknick got hit in the head with a freaking fire extinguisher, and the other one to suicide. As a result of the incident at the Capitol. Because whenever there's a traumatic incident, it is not uncommon for a victim of a traumatic incident to engage in self-harm and self-blame. So that officer who took his own life probably blamed himself for something that he had absolutely no control over. And you notice how you don't see any profile picture changes for that officer? To honor his family, to honor his legacy. But then you hear all this nonsense about Blue Lives Matter. Blue Lives Matter so much. Blue Lives Matter so much, huh? So much. It matters so much to the point where a man had to shout out, I have kids, to get you to stop beating them.
Video shows the moment the violent mob storms into a tunnel of the building, trapping and crushing DC Metro police officer Daniel Hodges by a door.
There was a guy ripping my mask off, and he was able to rip away my baton, beat me with it, and you know, he was practically foaming at the mouth. So just these people were true believers in the worst way. When things were looking bad, you know, obviously I was calling out for all I was worth, and an officer behind me was able to give me enough room to pull me out of there, and they brought me to the rear, so I was able to extricate myself.
Hodges miraculous.
I felt genuine, and it's hard for me to feel sympathy for cops, man, but I felt genuine empathy for that man, yo. Like, I watched that live, I was like, yo, I was sitting there screaming I was screaming at the screen, stop, yo. The man was screaming for help. They was literally crushing this man, bro. Like, you understand the force. You know, this man's trapped. They pushed this man up against this freaking metal door frame, right? There's hundreds of people in this small little causeway, and they're pushing him into it. You understand the amount of force that was being generated that was crushing this man? You know? That's just... I remember watching that live, and I was just like, that was when it's like, okay, all right, you just fucking animals now. You know? That is animalistic. You don't treat people like that. Like, goddamn, like, bro, stop. Like, the man was being crushed. I remember watching that live. I was freaking out. I was, you know, I still feel bad for that man.
Leaving the attack without any major injuries, saying he was shocked. Some rioters thought authorities would be on their side.
Wow.
The cognitive dissonance and the zealotry of these people is unreal. You know, they were waving the thin blue line flag and telling us, you know, we're not your enemies, while they were attacking us and, you know, kill one of us. Some of them felt like we would be some of them felt like we would be fast friends because they've been, so many of them have been vocal or at least virtue signaling their support for the police over the past year.
Ooh! Oh, shots fired. Homie, share the stream out real quick. Share the stream out, everybody you know. Shots fucking fired. Yo. My man, yo. No, I'm docking this video, bro. Hold on, I gotta save this. My man is going in, bro. Yes. Watch later, bro. That gets saved to watch later. Did you hear that, bro? Oh no.
Signaling their support for the police over the past year. Be fast friends because they've been, so many of them have been vocal or at least virtue signaling their support for the police over the past year. They say things like, you know, we've been supporting you through all this Black Lives Matter stuff. You should have our back. And they felt like entitled. They felt like they would just walk up there and tell us that they're here to take back Congress, and we would agree with them, and we'd walk in hand and just take over the nation. But obviously that was not the case, and it will never be the case.
The insurrection.
Yo, B. Hodges, I think I might actually find an officer that I like. I think I finally found an officer that I actually like. This man is fucking oh my God, he is ruthless. This man, they crushed that man in the door, right? He's the officer that got crushed in the door. So this man came back with a vengeance, bro. He said, oh, okay, man. You want to play with the bad guy, huh? Say what? I'm going to CNN and I'm coming for you, bro. I'm coming for scalps. My man B. Hodges came from my man D. Hodges, Daniel Hodges. My man D. Hodges came from scalps, yo. Watch this man, bro. They crushing this man, bro. Like you could just see, but again, he came at him though.
Well, it was worth, and an officer behind me was able to give me enough room to pull me out of there, and they brought me to the rear, so I was able to extricate myself.
Hodges miraculously leaving the attack without any major injuries, saying he was shocked. Some rioters thought authorities would be on their side.
The cognitive dissonance and the zealotry of these people is unreal. You know, they were waving the thin blue line flag and telling us, you know, we're not your enemies, while they were attacking us and, you know, kill one of us. Some of them felt like we would be some of them felt like we would be fast friends because they've been, so many of them have been vocal or at least virtue signaling their support for the police over the past year. They say things like, you know, we've been supporting you through all this Black Lives Matter stuff. You should have our back. And they felt like entitled. They felt like they would just walk up there and tell us that they're here to take back Congress, and we would agree with them, and we'd walk in hand and just
take over the nation, but obviously that was not the case. And it will never be the case.
The insurrection is unusual means in your efforts to break
my
into
man
the most
D.
secure
Hodges
areas of the U.S. Capitol building.
The individuals were pushing, shoving officers.
My man, I gotta play that again. My man D, I can play that a million times. My man D. Hodges is a fucking savage, bro. Yo, listen to this man, bro.
Worth and an officer behind me was able to give me enough room to pull me out of there, and they brought me to the rear, so I was able to extricate myself.
Hodges miraculously leaving the attack without any major injury, saying he was shocked. Some rioters thought authorities would be on their side.
The cognitive dissonance and the zealotry of these people is unreal. You know, they were waving the thin blue line flag and telling us, we're not your enemies while they were attacking us and, kill one of us. Some of them felt like we would be some of them felt like we would be fast friends because they've been, so many of them have been vocal or at least virtue signaling their support for the police over the past year. They say things like, we've been supporting you through all this Black Lives Matter stuff, you should have our back. And they felt like entitled. They felt like they would just walk up there and tell us that they're here to take back Congress, and we would agree with them, and we'd walk in hand and just take over the nation. But obviously that was not the case.
Oh my God.
The insurrection.
Oh my God. I can listen, bro. I can listen to my man Daniel Hodges, my man D. Hodges, bro. I can listen to that man a million times. He was honest. He's an actual honest officer. Because he called the right what it was. He says, y'all don't really support us. You're virtue signaling. Oh! Since y'all want to be honest about cops, they decided to be honest about y'all. Since you want to be honest about cops, they decided to be honest about y'all. Oh my God. That man came for scalps, yo. My man came for scalps. My man ain't had no chill. Yo, I don't blame that man, though. They crushed that man in the door. Fuck them. He said, fuck. My man was like, honestly, though, if he was rhyming, yo, that's a fucking mixtape. God damn. I mean, he was ruthless.
The most secure areas of the U.S. Capitol building.
The individuals were pushing, shoving officers, hitting officers. They were spraying us with what we are calling it's essentially bear mace. It was 2 to 3 hours of, heroism and bravery from these officers. I mean, the violence that they, they were getting hit with metal objects, metal poles. I remember seeing pitchforks. They're getting sprayed, knocked down, and I remember, just reinforcements, just officers pulling officers back to heal up, and them stepping in to get to the front line, and then they go down, and then more officers step in.
And what you hear that officer there describing is exactly what law enforcement officials have been telling us. It is the work of the MPD, the DC police, who were called in as reinforcement when the Capitol Police were overwhelmed. This would save lives. The lawmakers, they were able to move lawmakers out of harm's way because of the battle that the DC police were fighting. It gave the Capitol Police time to move some of our lawmakers, some of the leaders of this country out of harm's way.
Yeah, true heroes. Shimon, I am so glad that we are hearing from them, and thank you for bringing their stories to us this morning.
Wow. That is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Let's go and move on here.
But let's talk about this first story. And what's interesting about this is CNN.
So someone sent me this Tim Pool video. Someone sent me this Tim Pool video from Tim Pool, Mr. I'm not a racist, but Mr. Ahmaud Arbery was not murdered because he was a black man, even though he was murdered because he was a black man. In fact, I'm not going to call you Tim Pool. I'm not going to call you a racist. I'm going to call you, I'm not a racist but. So go on, I'm not a racist but. Tell me what you got to say about this young man who showed up at the U.S. Capitol, who you're somehow suggesting, you know, oh well, a BLM guy was there, a left-wing activist was there. He was there filming. Okay. Not sure what you're gonna get at, Tim, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be interesting.
And platforming these people. How about that? Daily Caller reports feds charge left-wing activist who filmed shooting of Trump supporter at Capitol. They say federal prosecutors on Thursday announced charges against John Sullivan, a self-described left-wing activist who recorded the fatal police shooting of a Trump supporter inside the U.S. Capitol last week. Sullivan, the founder.
So it would appear that all the people who showed up in my comment section saying, "Oh, well, what about Ashley Babbitt? You ain't said nothing about Ashley Babbitt. What about Ashley Babbitt? Ashley Babbitt. You know, Ashley Babbitt has become the canon Hinat. You remember the little white boy who was shot by the black drug dealer in North Carolina when everybody started virtue signaling? No one gives a damn about that boy now and his freaking family. I guarantee you, not one of them has sent a letter since. You know, or David Dorn, you know, the black former police officer, off-duty police officer. He was shot. He didn't have his freaking gun on him. So Dorn over the riots over the summer, he was killed. And then everyone from men's rights activists, what's that one guy? Paul Elam. I'm not a racist, but he'll change their profile pictures to David Dorn, virtue signaling. But I notice how no one's changing their profile pictures to Brian Sicknick though, or Liebengood, the guy who killed himself, the Capitol police officer. How about the guy that was getting crushed in the freaking door there? The guy who just told y'all that y'all was virtue signaling. You know, Daniel Hodges. Daniel Hodges said that you guys were virtue signaling. So, you know, it's very, very interesting how he's going to bring this up. And it's very, very interesting how little attention he gives to the other side. Or how he'll give it attention so long as he can say, well, the left caused this. It's never going to just be the right caused this and this is a problem that they got to fix. No matter what the left did, you don't do this shit. But let's see how he spins this.
Founder of a group called Insurgents USA, which formed in the aftermath of the death of George Floyd, is charged with illegally entering the Capitol, civil disorder, and violent or disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. Sullivan faces separate charges for rioting and criminal mischief in connection with an incident in Provo, Utah on June 30th where a person was shot and injured during a protest against police brutality. For those that aren't familiar, a car was driving down the road and some Black Lives Matter dude runs up.
Right. So I'm just wondering, what does all this background information about this one dude, what does that have to do with anything? I mean, him being BLM and there's one BLM guy shows up. And I want you to understand something, right? Tim Pool is one of those people who push the election conspiracy nonsense. One of those people who basically every time there's a police shooting, he goes out of his way to excuse the cop. He pretends to be left wing, but he's left wing by the more comical, more meme-ish American standard. So he's not really left. He just thinks that he's left because he skateboard and smokes a joint every now and then. So he's like, hey bro, I'm a hippie, bro. I smoke joints. I smoke the Wheaties, bro. Look at me, bro. I'm a hippie, bro. Bro, look, bro. I wear a beanie, bro. Come on, I'm a hippie, bro. I'm half Asian, bro. Come on, half Asian skateboarder, weed, bro. Hello, fellow children. He is the Steve Buscemi of YouTube, the biggest fake there is. He fakes as an Asian. He fakes as a figure stoner. He fakes as a figure skateboarder. He fakes as a figure journalist. He fakes as a figure YouTuber. He fakes as a decent person. Tim Pool is not really a journalist as much as he's like an actor. But you'll notice that, though. You'll notice that.
And just shoots him for no reason. Crazy stuff. He was one of the organizers. They say an FBI affidavit issued against Sullivan on Thursday cites comments he made on video he recorded during the Capitol breach. Sullivan told FBI agents as well as members of the media that he showed up at the Capitol to document the activities of Trump supporters who were protesting the results of the presidential election.
Right.
But the FBI affidavit indicates Sullivan was acting more as an active participant in the riots than as a journalist.
Right.
Here's the best part. Here's what I want to show. You got this clip right here. Mike Cernovich tweets this out. I can't stop laughing. Sorry. I know it's all a scared time, but this is just too much. You have this image of Anderson Cooper bringing these people on his show.
Right. Right. You want to know why Anderson Cooper brought those people on their show? Because, Tim Pool, they're only accused. Even if Anderson Cooper brought people who were actually in the Capitol who were actually rioting, they're only accused. They're not guilty of anything. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure that he's pretty guilty. There's no question about it. But that's not how our justice system works. And even if you are convicted of a crime, that does not mean that you don't get to show up on a freaking news show. Tim, that's been the standard since forever. That's been the standard since forever, Tim. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, I guarantee you, he's gonna say something stupid like, well, they actually platformed these people. They platformed these people. Tim, you've talked to members of the damn alt-right. I don't think you want to judge, Tim. I don't think you want to go there, Tim. Don't go there, Tim. Don't go there.
To ask them about what's going on. That's interesting. I was told the people who stormed that building were domestic terrorists.
Yes, Tim. CNN, and I know for a fact because I've been employed to goddamn combat, they have literally interviewed members of the goddamn Taliban, you fucking idiot. Yes, they've interviewed domestic terrorists, Tim. Trust me, I'm not defending CNN. Anderson Cooper's a goddamn idiot. Don Lemon is a fucking idiot. Yeah, trust me, I get it, Tim. But at the same time, they have not been inconsistent on this goddamn point. I know for a fact because when I was deployed in goddamn Kandahar, Afghanistan, I literally remember a bulletin being sent out to all members of the freaking media to not approach members of the freaking Taliban or suspected members of the goddamn Taliban after a CNN journalist did just that. So shut the hell up, Tim. You have no fucking clue what the hell you got them talking about. You're gonna go on and say something fucking stupid. I guarantee you. Watch. Just watch.
CNN is putting these domestic terrorists on their TV
to
espouse their deranged views.
Tim, have they never put a member of the freaking Taliban on? How about the Church of Scientology? How about the Mormon Church? They've quite literally had Enrique Tarrio, the leader of the goddamn Proud Boys, on. They quite literally had the members of the Black Panther Party on. They quite literally had members of Antifa on. They quite literally had the members of the fucking alt-right on. They quite literally had members of the KKK on their shows before, Tim. It's not the first time, Tim. Many people who come on their show espouse hateful views, Tim. They've not been inconsistent on that. What they're saying, Tim, is that don't be like you and start believing the shit that the people say. Big difference, Tim. As shitty as Anderson Cooper is, he doesn't believe in any part of race realism, Tim. As dumb as Chris Cuomo is, Fredo is, as dumb as he is, Tim, He wasn't stupid enough to look at the Ahmaud Arbery's, murder and try to justify it, Tim. And still, to this very day, you have not taken down that damn video, even though you are categorically wrong according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, Tim. You say the stupidest shit, and you give people confirmation bias. You tell them what they want to hear, and so they keep coming back to your stupid ass channel to keep subscribing, keep giving you money, so that you can keep massaging their fucking egos to tell them you're not racist, you're not racist, you're not backwards, you're not behind the times. Don't worry, it's not them. No, it's not you, it's them. It's not you, it's them. He is paid to lie to you. This man is paid to lie to you. Do you not see that? This man is paid to lie to you. And that's what he does. Every fucking day. Lies to people.
That's incredible. From these quotes, it gets really interesting. Apparently, he said, let me see, I'll read this one. He said, quote, "There are so many people, let's go. This S is ours, F yeah," he is heard saying in video. "We accomplished this S. We did this together, F yeah. We are all part of this history. Let's burn this S down." These are quotes from the dude that CNN had on TV. He was filmed.
Right, Tim. Once again, you fucking maybe that beanie. I don't know. Maybe the beanie is just too goddamn tight. Maybe you gotta loosen up the goddamn beanie, Tim. Because I remember they quite literally had ISIS supporters on the goddamn show. They had literal members of the goddamn Taliban on the show. They've had members of, you name the most extreme shit. I know for a fact that they interviewed several members of the fucking KKK. I know that because in 2015, I remember CNN coming down to the South Carolina State House where I was at the time. And there was a march on the South Carolina Capitol because the Confederate flag was coming down, and the KKK and the sons of the Confederacy and all the white nationalist groups were upset about that. So they came out there, and then CNN also came out there, and they interviewed several of those people, Tim, and they espoused their same racist views, Tim. So if they allowed those people on, Tim, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Tim. They had KKK members on 5 years ago, Tim. Why is it that this man can't be on? And then on top of that, it's not like they are condoning what it'd be one thing, because I actually watched that interview. They never condoned what he did. They never condoned what they did. They just wanted his side of the story. That's it. That's the news, Tim. What you do is not news. What you do is you take a story and you spin it, Tim. They were just literally letting the man talk. That's it. That's it. That's it. CNN, in several news sources had Bill Cosby on, and we all know he's goddamn guilty. Was that wrong, Tim? Was it? No, it's not wrong. That's called the news. They weren't condoning what he was doing. They were simply let him give how he felt about it, why he did it, everything else. People want to hear that kind of stuff because that's called news. That's not spin. That's coming directly from the source. Instead of people writing news stories, just versus people writing news stories about him, let the man speak, Tim. I understand that you and your ilk, your so-called left-wing ilk, your fake-ass left-wing ilk, you don't like to get nuance, unless it benefits you or your side. I get that, Tim. I get that. But CNN simply allowing this man on to speak, that is not in of itself a problem. It's when you start condoning the views in which the person is speaking about. Like, for example, there is a difference between something that I do when I interview somebody, like, I go out there and I'll talk to a business owner. Hey, how has COVID-19 affected you? Tell me. I'll get quotes from you. There's a difference between what I do, right, and what someone like, for example, you can go tell them, I don't give a damn, what someone like, for example, Mark Dice does, or what, for example, someone like Tim Pool does. You take a news story, whereas it's clearly not about BLM whatsoever. It's clearly not about the left whatsoever, because you only really so far found one left-wing motherfucker when you've had certified right-wing Republican legislators who were caught rioting at the goddamn Capitol, who were caught breaching the damn Capitol, Tim. So there's no way you're pinning any of this on BLM. That's like saying, right, suppose for a second, you have a war. Let me use an actual war. Let's say that you had, for example, the Vietnam War. Not every enemy combatant was Vietnamese. There were some people who were living in China who moved over to Vietnam. Some people who were Korean. Not 100% of anybody in a country is 100% of that country. So you understand that at some point, some of the people that were shooting at our soldiers in Vietnam were not Vietnamese. Would you then say, well, the enemy combatants, they weren't Vietnamese because, hey, this one guy, hey, he's from China. That's fucking stupid. So you understand the point of Tim Pool doing this, right? You get the point of it, right? The point of it is to try to take ease off the right by bringing up this one, quite frankly, irrelevant. I mean, the only relevance he has is that he filmed the shooting of Ashley Babbitt. That's the only relevance that he really has. Otherwise than that, it's one guy out of how many? And on top of that, he was promptly arrested. They're still looking for people, Tim. Those are the people you should be talking about. Not this one guy who you say is on the same political side. But I'm going to press F to doubt.
This Capitol police officer shot Trump supporter Ashley Babbitt as she attempted to enter the barricaded section. Now, there's another interview that was put up by the Epoch Times where one reporter said, he kept saying over and over again, she's dead. And there were people saying, no, we can save her. And he goes, no, she's dead. And so what she was saying, this journalist, is that she thinks he was trying to enrage the Trump supporters so that they would...
No. Tim. Do you see what Tim's doing? See, that guy was there. He was there to enrage the Trump supporters. He was just enraging them. Tim, at the point that this girl was shot, Tim, what were they doing at the time? Tim, what were they doing? Were they breaching the U.S. Capitol? Were they already inside the Capitol? Yes, they were already inside the Capitol. Ashley Babbitt was shot trying to enter a barricaded hallway, Tim. They were already inside the Capitol. Now, Tim, at the point, and mind you, we are already past the point where officers were D.C., whereas U.S. Capitol officers such as Daniel Hodges, who were seen being crushed between a metal door frame between a large mob and being beaten with his own baton, or U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who had already been hit in the head by a fire extinguisher at that time, or several other officers who have been dragged out and beaten. One officer in particular who had been tased so many times to the point where he had a heart attack. It was already past that point, Tim. Already past that point. We are already past that point all the way up until this point. So what the fuck does it matter? Even if he was trying to rile people up. People were already riled up. If a man ends up dying from being hit inside the head with a freaking fire extinguisher, if an officer gets tased so many times to the point where he has a big heart attack, if other officers get the hell beaten out of him, chased around, Tim, it's already past the point of no return. Stop trying to pin this on the goddamn left. You're not a leftist, Tim. The facade is gone. No one truly believes that, Tim. No one truly believes that. Stop it. Get some help.
Take out some action like this would be a catalyst or something. In an interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper, hours after the fatal shooting, Sullivan acknowledged he was not a Trump supporter but denied instigating the rioters who stormed the Capitol. I don't want to see people get hurt unnecessarily, he told Cooper. Some Trump supporters have pointed to Sullivan's presence in the Capitol to claim the left-wing activists have served as agent provocateurs, egging on Trump supporters to break into the Capitol and commit violence. I think that's confirmed at this point.
No, it's not. No, it's not, Tim. Tim. People have made that claim several times, Tim. FBI says no Antifa involved in DC riots. We're going to go just look this shit up real quick. Right. So, let me just find a link real quick. Just find a link. Here. The Hill. Because people have made this claim so many fucking times, and it's never been true. Not even once. So, here we go. What's going on, DM Cosmic Chaos? All right, so there's a link in the chat to the Hill. Because again, someone's gonna say, "Oh, don't go to CNN." Well, this is from the Hill. They're not exactly left wing, okay? So just calm your tits. Calm your tits. All right, so here we go. This is from the Hill. All right, from the Hill. Let's see here. So, no evidence has been found that members of the left-wing Antifa movement were involved in this week's storming of the Capitol building, the FBI said Friday, contradicting a narrative pushed by some Trump allies. We have no indication of that at this time, Washington Field Office Assistant Director Stephen D'Antonu said during a briefing when asked about any potential involvement of Antifa. The term is used to refer to the loosely connected network of far-left activists who say they are fighting against what they perceive as fascism. Acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Michael Sherwin, separately said Thursday that investigators had not seen evidence of Antifa presence. Several figures on the right have attempted to pin fault for the mob that broke into the Capitol on Wednesday on Antifa. Representative Matt Gaetz, a Republican from Florida, on Wednesday claimed that left-wing agitators had disguised themselves as Trump supporters, citing a Washington Times story with false claims that was later retracted. So, watch this, right? Watch this. I'm gonna show you how much of a liar Tim Pool is, because we're gonna replay that clip, and I want you to hear this, right? I want you to hear this. So, Washington Times removes article claiming facial recognition company identifies some Capitol rioters as Antifa. So we're gonna replay this, right? We're gonna listen to Tim Pool lie. Listen now.
And so what she was saying, this journalist, is that she thinks he was trying to enrage the Trump supporters so that they would take out some action like this would be a catalyst or something. In an interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper, hours after the fatal shooting, Sullivan acknowledged he was not a Trump supporter but denied instigating the rioters who stormed the Capitol. I don't want to see people get hurt unnecessarily, he told Cooper. Some Trump supporters have pointed to Sullivan's presence in the Capitol to claim the left-wing activists have served as agent provocateurs, egging on Trump supporters to break into the Capitol and commit violence. I think that's confirmed at this point. And CNN did no vetting.
He said, "I think that's confirmed at this point that left-wing activists may serve as agent provocateurs, egging on Trump supporters to break into the Capitol and commit violence." Okay, so this claim originally came from the Washington Times, which is a right-wing publication, removes article claiming facial recognition company identifies some Capitol rioters as Antifa. So I'm going to post this link in the chat so that you can see for yourself. This claim has been going around so many times and it's never been goddamn true even once. So some people on the right, due to the Washington Times, was claiming that this facial recognition company was claiming that some of the rioters in the ridiculous DC riot, the insurrection event, were Antifa or left-wing agitators. So this is from this is actually from The Hill. The Washington Times appeared to retract an article claiming that a facial recognition company identified members of the left-wing Antifa movement that the paper said infiltrated a group of President Trump's supporters that stormed the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday. The company XR Vision demanded that the article be taken down and alleged that it was completely false. According to an email statement sent to The Hill, the article appeared to be taken down Thursday afternoon. XR Vision takes pride in its technology's precision and deems the Washington Times publication as outright false, misleading, and defamatory. The statement read, "Our attorney is in contact with the Washington Times and has instructed them to cease and desist from any claims regarding sourcing of XR Vision analytics, to retract the current claims and publish an apology." The retraction comes as several conservative lawmakers and media figures blame Antifa, an umbrella term for loosely organized anti-fascist groups, for the riot that breached both the House and Senate chambers. Footage and photos captured around the Capitol building on Wednesday showed a pro-Trump crowd breaking past Capitol police and smashing windows to enter the premises. The Washington Times didn't immediately respond to comment from The Hill. The article, which was published Wednesday, alleged that XR Vision performed a facial recognition of protesters and matched two Philadelphia Antifa members to two men inside the Senate. One man allegedly had a tattoo indicating he is a Stalinist sympathizer, the article claimed. The article also said another man identified shows up at climate and Black Lives Matter protests in the West, but said that he had no known links to Antifa. The article went viral as the riot progressed. When the House reconvened after the siege, Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican from Florida, a staunch supporter of Trump, gave a fiery floor speech in which he specifically cited the Times' article. Prior to the article being taken down, XR Vision told The Hill in a statement that the analysis actually identified two members of the neo-Nazi organizations and an actor with QAnon promotion history. No identification associated with Antifa was made with any of them. When asked if the company was aware that the article was taken down, the attorney said it was unaware, but unfortunately the damage has already been done. Tim Pool, you are propagating a lie that is ruining these people's business. You are pushing a lie that is ruining these people's business, you piece of shit. You piece of shit. You are pushing the lie that is ruining these people's business. Tim, it's not true. It was never true. XR Vision is the company that you're talking about. That is one guy that has showed up. XR Vision, the company that the Washington Times supposedly cited, who was about to be sued by XR Vision, and then the Republican the Republican representative from Florida named Matt Gaetz, he repeated that exact same lie and then later on retracted that lie. That's what that's based off of, Tim. You're gonna go on to accuse CNN of not doing their background work, Tim. Tim, you have not only not done your background work, you haven't even attempted, Tim. You're not just a bad journalist, Tim. Honestly, it's getting to the point where I'm wondering if you're even remotely a good person. Because anyone who goes, again, this is not just ignorance. Because you see how fast I found that out, right? This is not just ignorance. This is Tim Pool being dishonest intentionally. That's what Tim Pool is doing. He's being dishonest intentionally. He's lying to you. And he's lying to you for a purpose. because it makes him money. He tells people what they want to hear, so they return to hear what they want to hear. They return to be lied to, and I think that is almost a form of damn abuse. Well, you know something is bad for someone, but you not only encourage them to do it, you profit off of it. That's a form of abuse, in my opinion. And that's why I think that, Tim Pool, you are a bad person. Not just a bad journalist, but a bad person. Period. And that's the part about you that just... If I'm an Asian American, I would spit on you. If I was keeping the buck. But let's move on.
Secretary Wolf, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate your time. You resigned from your post on Monday. There's been a lot of explanation about what your resignation was all about. Can you?
All right, this is a former acting Department of Homeland Security Secretary Wolf. He resigned. So we're gonna go ahead and get a copy of this and let you guys watch this, and you tell me what you think about this video. And we'll make some comments along the way. Link should be in the chat. All right, let's get back to the video.
Can you clear up some of that? We've heard a lot of reports. Was it about these legal issues around your authority as acting Secretary of Homeland Security, or was your resignation on Monday a resignation in protest of the president's conduct last week during the assault on the Capitol?
For sure, it's absolutely. My authority was a big part of that. And as you know, the acting secretary's authority has been under litigation. Not only my authority, but my predecessor, the acting secretary, his authority under litigation for over the last several months. We had a legal process, we had a legal strategy that wasn't working. We had another nationwide injunction last Friday, another court questioning the authority of the acting secretary. So I thought as we went into the transfer of power, the last several days of this administration, still a lot to do for the acting secretary, that it didn't need everything that I was going to decide, sign out, or talk about be open to litigation. So I wanted to make sure I put the department the best foot forward as it moved forward. And that's why I felt at that time it was time for me to step down as acting.
So to be clear, you were not resigning in protest over the way the president behaved last night?
No, not necessarily. Although I have been very vocal and very specific about the events of the 6th, about my disappointment at the time with the president not being more vocal about denouncing the type of violence that we have seen. And from my perspective as acting secretary, and we saw violent activity throughout the summer, and the department, myself personally, been very vocal about calling out violence. So I wanted to make sure that I did that on this case, on the 6th, as the events unfolded, because violence is violence, whether it's on the left, the right, or anywhere in between. And I wanted the administration to be out there as well. And I felt as that day went on, the administration lost the moral high ground in some sense regarding what we had done and said throughout the summer.
Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about what went wrong on the 6th, but as we stand here right now, we are in what is essentially an armed camp in downtown Washington, D.C. There are checkpoints on every street. There are troops out visibly patrolling downtown Washington, D.C. right now. You've had access up until this week to the highest level of domestic intelligence about what the threat is. We've seen the president-elect now forced to cancel his inauguration rehearsal on Sunday, postponing that for security concerns. He had to cancel the ride into Washington on Amtrak for security reasons. What's the threat level right now, and do you think there is a threat to the life of the president-elect right now?
So again, all the presence that you see out in D.C. today is really the result of DHS moving up the NSSE, which is the National Special Security Event, which is a designation for the inauguration. That was supposed to start on the 19th. One of my last acts was actually to move that up to the 13th, so it started earlier this week. So that's why you see the increased presence. And that was a result of not only last week, but we have a number of permitted events. The Park Service has a number of permitted events here throughout this weekend that we were concerned about as well. So we wanted to put those measures in place this weekend and not wait until the 19th so that you could have the right manpower, the right law enforcement footprint here throughout the 20th, throughout the inauguration. So I'm very confident that we've got great law enforcement professionals. Secret Service is in charge of that. There's a command and control function there, and they're going to do well on that.
In your judgment, though, is there a threat to the life of the president-elect right now?
Well, again, I'm outside of that, no longer acting secretary, but what I do know is there's an increased level of chatter, certainly, because of the events of last week. DHS this morning said there's no credible, specific threats to the national capital area or to the inauguration, so I'll certainly take them on their word at that. But what you see and feel and certainly hear as you walk around D.C. is that heightened level of alert and awareness, and I think Secret Service is not taking taking all precautions, not taking any risk or any chances. And what you'll see here with the inauguration, obviously, just because.
So, basically, what Chad Wolf's here explaining is that, he had a choice to make. The reason why I can respect his opinion about what was happening over summer is that at least he was consistent. I mean, he seemed to be genuinely outraged about what was happening at the White House. I mean, at the White House, but at the U.S. Capitol, and he resigned. He said deuces, and I think that the shock of it, and I'm thinking that maybe he truly felt about the whole law and order thing, over the summer, and given what happened with the Capitol building, and given what the administration was saying, especially Donald Trump himself, some would argue that he directly incited the violence. I mean, that places him in a very, very awkward position, of having to defend his boss, but he might think that his boss has something to freaking do with it. That is an awkward position to be in as the acting Secretary of Homeland Security. I mean, that is an awkward position to be in. But anyways, guys, we are going to go ahead and end the show early today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and I want to let you guys know that I run this show every day. Also, let me go ahead and check the phone line, see if anyone called in, and if not, then we're going to end the show early today, because Turtle Phantom. Okay, so we have a Turtle Phantom in. All right, so we got Turtle Phantom in. All right, so we have check that. Okay, so we don't have any calls in. And right now, we're going to go ahead and sign up for the show, guys. I want to let you guys know that I run the show every day from 1 p.m. Pacific time to, usually I keep it running to about an hour and 30 to maybe sometimes 4 to 5 hours. With that being said, guys, this is Devil's Advocate. Horns up, peace out, be safe, don't get COVID, wear a mask, and please be safe and don't storm the Capitol. For God's sakes, do not storm the Capitol.